Welcome to another exciting edition of Shiftwork, presented by our friends here at Russell Steaks, Chops, and More. Todd Scanlon is from Scanlon Jewelers. Todd, thanks for being a part of this today.
Oh, thank you.
So, we're really trying to highlight some of our entrepreneurs here in Western New York, business owners, get a little bit of their history. Can you give us some background on Scanlon Jewelers?
I worked my way through college to be a school teacher. When I got out of college, school teachers were making $16,000 a year. And my boss at the time offered me $35,000 a year to manage the store. So I said,
I'm no mathematician, but I got that one.
So I said, maybe I'll try this out for a couple years.
Yeah.
And when I was 28, I didn't want to be employed by somebody else. So I opened, with two of the guys that worked for me at that store, our own store on Main Street in Williamsville. And at the time, we were doing work for about 200 stores, so I had a pretty significant operation that I was running. If you dropped a ring off at any Gordon's, any Zales, any Bon-Ton, any Kaufman's, any Lord & Taylor, on the East Coast, it would come to us. Wow. And when I was 38, I said, you know what, I'm sick and tired of doing this work. And we had built our storefront up more than enough to just go to retail.
Incredible.
Yeah, and so we went just to retail, and we're still in the same place that I opened up at when I was 28. And I have bought the building since then, as well as me and two other guys on our block. We bought 7 buildings on our block so we could rejuvenate our block. Because we were on the edge of the village, and the edge of the village wasn't as nice due to some people who inherited properties there and didn't take care of them. Mm-hmm. So we took those buildings, we rehabbed them all, and now our whole block is kind of in the village rather than just on the outskirts of the village.
Incredible. So to see what you've grown to now, when you talk to other jewelers, maybe in Buffalo or outside of the city, are they impressed by that story, that you're still doing the same thing at the same place?
Yeah, and there's a bunch of us here that do. I mean, Buffalo's a small town, so if you get a good reputation, you do business. Mm-hmm. And guys that don't get a good reputation seem to lose, go out of business quickly.
Well, let's talk about that, reputation. What gives you guys such a good reputation?
38 years of hard work. That's the only way to get it. You're not going to get it overnight, and you got to be honest and work hard and do your best, and people appreciate that.
When you look into Buffalo and kind of redefining the city's coming back to life kind of thing, how does that make you feel?
Oh, it's great. I mean, we have a thing called Thursday in the Village, and when I go to that, it feels like I'm down in Florida. They have bands out there. You can travel, with a drink in your hand from place to place. So the village has changed that way, and downtown's awesome.
It's amazing, isn't it, to see it come back to life? Yeah. We mentioned Buffalo, and what I love about Buffalo is, yes, there's the city, but Buffalo is like this all-encompassing area. Like the Williamsville area is part of Buffalo, and even Williamsville now is taking off.
Yes.
And you guys have been a big part of that.
Yeah, I was on the Williamsville board years and years ago, and I wrote a letter to the board saying, wouldn't it be neat if we actually could use Glen Park, if we actually could use Main Street like you see in other areas, because we weren't doing it at the time. And when I started renting my place on Main Street, there was a building next door to me that was inherited by a guy, a building 3 doors down to me that was inherited by a guy, and he just let him go. Mm-hmm. Since then, between me and Benderson and I can't think of the other developer's name, we have purchased most of the buildings on this street and rehabbed them all. So they're all, all full all the time. They're all nice buildings. And, all the things that I thought back then that could happen actually did. It wasn't because of me. It was because of most of the guys that retired from businesses in Williamsville that just joined the Williamsville board after that. And they made it happen, and I give them all the credit in the world.
So Williamsville's got its own kind of character too, right? So when you try to look at redoing buildings or bringing them back to life, do you have to keep the history of Williamsville in mind?
Yeah, one of my buildings is historical, so we can't do much to change it, but we did rehab it, 15 years ago. And it's an architecture firm now, and it's stunning. Mm-hmm. It's gorgeous on the inside. It's cute on the outside, it's gorgeous on the inside. And these buildings were built in the 1850s.
Do you redo them with the thought of a specific business coming in?
Yeah, you don't have to, because it's Williamsville, you're in Main Street, a business will come in.
Right. And it's a great area, isn't it?
Yeah.
Williamsville. Beautiful.
Again, yeah, if you can't make it on Main Street in the Village, you have a bad business plan.
Well, Todd, it's been great meeting you, and man, fantastic story. Thank you so much for coming to be a part of this.
Okay.
Appreciate all your help.
You got it.
That's Todd Scanlon from Scanlon Jewelers. Another great edition of Shiftwork presented by Russell Steaks, Chops, and More.